Hi, my name is Amy Metcalf, and I am chair of the Hopkinton Democrats. Now that you've established your committee, ongoing assessment and development can help you grow your committee so that you can meet the goals of keeping voters informed, inspiring local activism, and recruiting and electing Democrats. The thing I most want you to remember is that what you are doing is so important. Grassroots organizers and town committees are the foundation to getting Democrats elected. It can be a lot of fun and very rewarding. So let's get started with building a stronger committee. I'm now going to share my screen. So this is the first slide, getting started, the town committee. This is what we're going to go over today. It's listed there. You can read it for yourselves. The town committee, mission statement, timelines, the New Hampshire Democratic Party, other partners. The Democratic Town Committee is the base of the Democratic Party. And truly it is. We are the ones who know the town. We have relationships in town. We can recruit candidates to run for office. We can motivate and recruit volunteers. And we know the issues that are most important to our voters. Our vision is to elect Democrats in local, state, and federal offices. Local elections are crucial and often overlooked. It is our job to keep local elections on the forefront and be always recruiting candidates for those positions. There are 18 county committees and 250 town committees. Some of those town committees are active and some are not. It is the mission of LLN to have 250 active Democratic town committees throughout New Hampshire. Committee members can be registered Democrats or independents, but all officers must be registered Democrats. The mission statement provides a clear foundation of values and purpose. We have found it helpful to craft our mission statement within a town committee meeting. It gives people input, it makes people realize what they're really working towards, and it gives us something to reflect back to in decision making. A mission statement should be simple and direct. An example here is to develop a strong local committee to inform, inspire, and motivate Democrats and progressive activists to spread our message and to recruit and elect Democrats to office. Bylaws are optional. They're rules and principles to guide your town committee. You'll see in the appendix there is a template there for crafting a bylaw. The New Hampshire Democratic Party has bylaws and it has a constitution that you can refer to. There are defined roles in the leadership team, but I find it best to assess the interest and skill levels of your officers in delegating tasks. And some officers may have dual roles, or you may recruit a committee member to take on one of the roles of the officers. So it's important to put together a team that maximizes each member's abilities and addresses the needs of the committee. We actually have a volunteer who does all of our social media posts. And we have actually invited her to sit on the executive committee with us and attend those meetings. She's not a formal officer, but she joins the meetings. The executive committee is made up of a chair, vice chair, treasurer, secretary, and delegates at large. They serve for 2-year terms, elected between January 15th and April 1st on the odd years. They are all delegates to the state convention, and they are all, as I said before, registered Democrats. The chair basically facilitates and makes sure that things get done. They tend to lead the committees, write the monthly newsletter, arrange speakers, oversee the workings of the committees. The vice chair fills in for the chair and manages projects on request. They are also the one in charge of recruitment. The vice chair is the one that should be establishing relationships with town leaders, knowing what local seats are open and recruiting candidates for those seats. The secretary takes minutes, sends out correspondence, manages the voter list. Our secretary also is knowledgeable on MailChimp, Canva, and Zoom. She sends out meeting notices and is the tech host for our meetings. The treasurer does as most treasurers, keeps the books and records, manages accounts, does the fundraising. We are a nonprofit, political status nonprofit. In the leadership manual, there's a full description of the treasurer's role in fundraising, and I'll also get into it later on. The delegates at large, they keep committee and members informed of the New Hampshire Democratic platform and attend the Democratic Convention. We actually have them also sit in on our executive committee meetings. They're part of our officer group. And another thing we did, which was really a helpful meeting, was we had the delegates present to us the New Hampshire Democratic Party platform. And during that meeting, we ended up also bringing up the GOP meeting and comparing them. And it was a really, really informative exercise where people left feeling quite proud and relieved that they are a Democrat. I have here a sample timeline of what goes on weekly, monthly, annually, and during election years. Don't feel you have to do all that's on these timelines. This is just something that was helpful for us, and you may have things in your committee that work better for you, but I just thought I'd give you a general timeline that you can use as for guidance. So weekly we post, do posts on Facebook. Usually I'll get an email that I think is worthy of going on Facebook, and I'll send it to the person that does the posts, and she also does posts on her own. This year, we started up posting legislative bills and action items every Sunday night, and people really liked that. So they were set for the week and they could weigh in on various hearings or bills. And in the link, in the appendix, you will see a link for how to access the legislative sessions. And we also, I usually go, or my vice president goes to any of the weekly chairs meetings. They're really informative, and it's good to keep that connection going. And they're only about a half hour. So I really encourage you to make use of those. Monthly, we attend the county chairs meeting. And again, it's a good thing to go to for connection and for information. I find it helpful to set those up usually a month in advance and get the speakers set up a month in advance. We tend to meet every month, but we take time off over the holidays and the summer. You're required to have 6 meetings a year. And I've found that usually hour and a half is a good time frame for those meetings. It's great to get lively speakers and topics, and the LLN is putting together a speakers bureau that you can reference. It's also nice to combine these meetings with other towns at times to bring in more people. We plan our meetings and a speaker a month in advance, as I said, and we usually send out about 3 notices at least, and we publish it on Mobilize so that we can try to get, people need reminders over and over about events, so don't hesitate to remind people. Annually, we build up our voter list, and membership is a crucial part of what we do every year. We tend to set up a Democratic information booths at town and school meetings, polling sites, the transfer station, and anywhere you can capture voters. Vote Builders is a great resource for setting up your mailing lists and targeting new voters. This year, we plan to send out postcards to all Democrats and independents who vote Democratic, and to any new voters, inviting them to our meetings and events. And it's good to have a social every year of some sort. It can be a potluck, ice cream social, whatever works for you. It's just a good time to get people together, for them to get to know each other, for them to sort of be thanked and to feel part of a community. We also tend to invite our elected officials to those gatherings, and it's also a good place to do some fundraising. Another thing we try to do annually is, our reps say that keep reiterating how encouraging it is for them to have visibilities and letters to the editors. So throughout the year, it's good to do visibilities, and it's, if possible, it's great to have some people knowledgeable on certain topics, so that when they're a hot topic in the legislature, they can, at a moment's notice, write a letter to the editor and get that published. And it really helps out our representatives. Election year, we invite candidates to our meetings. And again, we like to combine that with other towns if we can. It's important to get involved in the primaries. As a New Hampshire Democratic Party member, you have to stay neutral in contested primaries. But it's still important to get those names out there. Name recognition is a crucial part of getting elected. So during the primaries, it's fine to go canvassing and just phone calling and visibility just to get the names out of those Democratic candidates. So whoever wins, people have their name in their mind. In 2020, we did a mailing after the primary of all the Democratic candidates, and we put in talking points with those. You'll see in a future slide, there will be a sample of the mailing we sent out. What we did at that point is that we did something on everyone and then really focused on the most contested race, which was the gubernatorial, and did more talking points on that one. We ended up having to foot the bill on that. We got a reduced rate through the post office, but I think in the future, I want to work with the New Hampshire Democratic Party to help fund that, and I encourage you to do that. We're always recruiting and volunteers. Yeah, you want to pair them up with, let's see, is there another one there? Oh yeah. You want to pair volunteers with other volunteers so they get experience. It's assign them any task. There's things like delivering signs, putting up signs, visibility, baking, driving canvassers around, sending postcards, whatever you can get them started on, you will find eventually they'll be canvassing. So, work with your volunteers and whatever their interests may be. Again, talking about the mailings. Mailings are important in that they keep people informed, they raise voter awareness, spread your message, and also counter maybe misinformation that the GOP is sending out. And certainly it's always good for recruiting and for getting more committee members and registered voters. Here's a sample of the mailing that I spoke of. You can see I went through talking points and little descriptions of each person and then focused more on the gubernatorial race. Fundraising is never fun, but it's necessary. Again, I told you in the appendix in the New Hampshire Democratic Party leadership manual, there are some specific references to budgeting and ideas. We found that if you make a list of past donors and maybe brainstorm over new donors and reach out to them, that's something you can do each year. We usually have a hat at every event, a donation hat. You can get some people to sign up for Act Blue and make monthly donations. And anytime you have an event, it's a good place also to do fundraising. So the New Hampshire Democratic Party, the town committee is part of the New Hampshire Democratic Party. It's important to get to know them. They are a great resource and provide trainings, guidance. In the appendix, you will see a link to the New Hampshire Democratic Party leadership manual and how to reach out to the New Hampshire Democratic Party staff members. They really want to help, so don't hesitate in calling them. There are other New Hampshire Democratic Party constituencies in caucuses. They are listed here. I know we had the AAPI Democrats come to one of our meetings recently, and it was really informative. So these are other groups that you can reach out to brainstorm, to use as resources, to collaborate with. So the New Hampshire Democratic Caucus, it's important important to really know your senator. Mine is Becky Whitley right now, who I started meeting with her when she first decided to run for office. She called and asked me to meet, and the more you can make relationships with them, the better. And our reps have been great at coming out for visibilities. They attend as many of our meetings as possible. We have all the reps come, the senator and the reps come for at least 2 meetings a year to give us updates, answer questions, meet with the voters. As you can see, these are the current, it's a current majority leader, Senate President, Senator Morse, and then you have Senator Carson, Senator Bradley, and minority leader is Senator Susie, and Rosenwald is the deputy minority leader. As far as the New Hampshire House Democratic Caucus, again, get to know those people, and they're very responsive. We have Mel Myler, Mary Jane Woolner, and David Luno. And they, again, attend our meetings on a regular basis. The Democratic Victory Campaign Committee is the old CHED, and they usually host events once a year, twice a year, and they tend to be fundraising, but also very informative. So they're the group that really tries to recruit and fundraise for the House Democrats. And the Local Leadership Network. The Local Leadership Network, or LLN, is the organization that is putting together these toolkits. We have been working together over the past 6 months to develop toolkits to aid town committees with the goal of making strong committees all throughout New Hampshire. Work with local candidates, they work with independent groups. The town committee network for sharing best practices is another arm of what we're doing. And as we mentioned before, they've started a speakers bureau, which you can call and get speakers to come to your meetings. And funding. We're trying to raise money and do funding. So please call us, reach out to us. We're all just very dedicated to building strong committees and grassroots organizations and to getting Democrats elected. So any help you need, we are here to help you. So thank you, and let's go elect Democrats. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.